Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's The Travel Insider. My name is Sofia Rattinger and joining me is financial advisor, Mr. Elliot Bullman. Elliot, how are you?
Great, Sophia. How are you?
Once again, here we are.
I know. Coming up to Christmas. We're ready for travel.
Super ready.
Excellent. And welcome everybody to another edition. Before we start, remember to check out all our social networks. That's Facebook, Twitter and Google+. And you can catch us daily on MexicoNewsNetwork.com for relevant stories and news. Let's start with today's show.
Tourism is one of Mexico's main economic engines, and this year, according to Enrique de la Madrid, head of the Secretariat of Tourism, the country will close with record numbers.
This year, Mexico registered the arrival of more than 35 million international tourists and revenues of $19 billion, figures that are expected to surpass by 2017. It's important to note that tourism is a sector that grows year by year, as we remember that in 2013, Mexico was in the 15th position as the most visited country, and by 2015, it was already in 9th place.
Similarly, Mexico continues to expand its air connectivity, which means a steady growth for the country, since it is much easier to travel between Mexico and other countries in the world. The country will also continue to seek the strengthening ties with markets such as Asia, Europe, and South America in tourism so that people from these nations visit Mexico more often.
Currently, the general tourism sector accounts for 8.7% of Mexico's gross domestic product, which is why it's such an important industry in the country. And lots of people are lobbying to boost it even more, to further strengthen and expand it.
According to de la Madrid, tourism will continue to grow by 2017, mainly because of the exchange rate, since the downfall of the Mexican peso and therefore its low prices make Mexico a more attractive country for foreign tourism.
In addition, due to the current international economic and political climate, it's expected that more Mexicans will travel within the national territory instead of going abroad, allowing the economy to flow internally. It was announced that campaigns will also be carried out to incite the more than 45 million Mexicans residing in the United States to visit Mexico more.
Incidentally, one of Mexico's most popular destinations is Cancun and the Riviera Maya. Tourism director for the municipality of Benito Juárez, Francisco Lopez, said that Cancun will close the year with 21 million passengers and that the airport presented a 10% growth compared to 2015. Actually, last week, they have a recognition, like a little party in the airport where they congratulate the 20, you said it right, 20 millionth passenger.
20 millionth passenger, just this year.
It was a woman from Mexico City.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yes, it was a domestic flight, but lucky her.
But that's an incredible statistic, because if you go back to, say, like 1974, when that airport was first inaugurated, I mean, there was probably only about 10,000 visitors, if you were lucky, that particular first year. So, I mean, incredible growth. All these years. And probably by next year with Terminal 4, I mean, the projections for international travel and domestic, I mean, who knows what we'll be, but they're talking maybe even 35 million visitors next year. So so you better start packing and get yourselves over here, guys. This is the place to be. So yeah, according to the official, the hotel occupancy remained on average above 80% throughout the year. Senor Lopez said that events such as the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity, which is the COP13, which Cancun hosted recently, showed the city's improvement on sustainability. He considered that the announcement of the creation of a 65 million hectare protected area that covers part of Cancun serves to show that tourism is not fraught with development nor with sustainability.
The tourism director said that caring for the environment is part of Cancun's concerns, both for the government and the hoteliers. It is something that the hotels themselves already sell. They say they already have some certification on garbage and energy conservation, and that is something that tourists are looking for.
Yeah, another priority is the promotion of Cancun as a place for sports tourism. So in addition to the marathon, which is considered the most important sporting event in the city, the authorities are planning different tournaments, especially water sports.
As a counterpart, Darío Flota, the director of the Tourism Promotion Trust of Cozumel and Riviera Maya, said that tragedies are being prepared to find other tourist sectors and keep the destination busy even in low seasons. He mentioned that conventions and other sorts of large group travelers are one of the sectors that the destination can exploit.
According to the director, the Riviera Maya has almost 43,000 rooms and will have to diversify markets to attract other tourists. Flota noted that the inclusion of sports and cultural activities is important for the promotion of destinations. So, in addition to the Jazz Festival of the Riviera Maya, he's considering the possibility of doing a similar one in Tulum for next year.
You know, and every year we have this jazz festival and these careers, marathons, and all those things.
Major sporting events and cultural events. And
Ironman, we have.
Ironman competition,
Yes.
right? I mean, going from Isla Mujeres to Cancun, Cozumel. It's incredible. The Brownlee brothers famously just participated in it, right? And one of the brothers had to help his brother
Yes.
across the finishing line.
Yeah, it was really.
It's
it
a
was
tough.
really sweet.
It is
yeah.
a tough marathon, but you know, I mean, these two are Olympic gold medalists this year, so but it's a fantastic event. Cozumel, the island of swallows. I mean, a beautiful place to hold the event, right?
Yes. And speaking of Cancun, with the recent governor elections and consequent change of administration, there are exciting and interesting changes for the travel industry of the state. The head of the Secretary of Tourism of Quintana Roo, Marisol Vanegas Perez, said that the state government will create the first cabinet of tourism of the entity, which will include 3 secretariats, with the objective of efficiently solving problems that concern the tourism industry. But Elliot, what will this mean for the sector?
Well, the establishment of the cabinet means that at last the tourism sector will have the political weight that it needs. Let's remember that this industry generates 65% of the GDP of Quintana Roo and 8.9% at the national level. It will allow a committed dialogue between all the parties involved in supporting tourism. This will facilitate solving those problems that concern the sector directly or indirectly more efficiently.
That's right. The Tourism Cabinet will be enabled in January 2017, and it will set a precedent at the national level, at a first state cabinet that will allow a better order in the urban tourist area. Also, the tourism sector of Quintana Roo is facing a dilemma, as the government of Carlos Joaquin Gonzalez will have to define how it will use the 186,000 million pesos that will enter next year to the coffers of the state by concept of the lodging tax. Elliot, could you tell us a little bit about this tax?
Well, yeah, very briefly, the tax on lodging services, or tax for the provision of lodging services, is a tax that is not exactly new, but it was implemented around 1995, if I remember. And in Mexico, it consists of charging the tourist directly at the time that they pay per night of lodging. So its purpose is to aid the general promotion and the betterment of the touristic sector of the area. However, people are disagreeing as to exactly how it should be used.
Well, given this question, there are 2 positions: the business hotelier sector and the state government. The private sector group, led by the president of the Cancun and Puerto Morelos Hotel Association, Carlos Goselin Maurel, asks the authorities to allocate 100% of the resources to the promotion of tourism in the Mexican Caribbean, instead of the 80% of the proposal original, due to the large number of rooms that are concentrated in this region and the tourism developments that take place in the mainland of Isla Mujeres, called Ciudad Mujeres.
On the other hand, Vegara Fernandez, head of the Ministry of Finance and Planning, represents the position of using 3% of the tax in promotion, but also in tourism infrastructure. So he proposed that 20% be used to support municipalities or tourism infrastructure, and 80% for publicity of the tourism trust that will be created soon.
And what do you think about this thing that we're going to be the first state in the nation that has a tourism cabinet?
I think it's just great news in terms of the use of all of that money that's coming in, plus all the taxation coming in. I mean, that's going to be more regulated distribution, don't you think?
Yeah, and I know this woman, Marisol Vanegas Perez, and I can say, I'm pretty sure she's a great person, and I'm sure she's going to do a lot of great things for the state and for she has always been working in pro tourism, always.
This is great. I mean, the extra promotional activity, and she's a fantastic candidate, like you say, to take us to the next level.
Yes, she's gonna do a lot of things. Well, this was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Sofia Rattinger.
And I'm Elliot Bullman. Thanks for joining us. Before we close, remember to join us on all of our social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and to catch us on MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more stories about Mexico and the world. Until next time.